Today we're talking about angles in triangles, more specifically the triangle angle sum theorem and the exterior angle theorem. What the triangle angle sum theorem says is the sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. This applies to any triangle, no matter what size, what type, it always adds up to 180 degrees for all three interior angles. Now what the exterior angle theorem says, first off, the exterior angle is the angle formed by extending one of the sides of the triangle out, making a straight line. Now, whenever you do this, you have your exterior angle on the outside and two remote interior angles, which are the two angles that are not attached to the exterior angles. Okay. The exterior angle is always equal to the sum of these two remote interior angles. Alright, now let's look at a few examples with this. First off, number one, we have three interior angles, so we need to find out what measure of angle 1 is based off of this. All three of these angles have to add up to 180 degrees. So the easiest way to find this is to add these two angles together, 24 plus 37, giving us 63 degrees. Then subtract that from 180, and that gives us 117 degrees for measure of angle 1. Example 2 has an exterior angle with angle 1. So to find that, we have the two remote interior angles that we are just going to add together. 76 plus 52 ends up giving us 128 degrees. On number 3, we're given the exterior angle and one of the remote interior angles. So to find angle 1, the easiest way would then, since those would be the sum, going backwards would be subtracting. So we would do 104 minus 79. That would end up giving us 25 degrees for measure of angle 1. There are going to be problems with multiple steps on it. For example, number 4, the first one that we're going to look at, we're going to try to find measure of angle 1. Because we have all of these angles on the inside, we can do 66 plus 84, giving us 150. Subtract that from 180. 180 minus 150 ends up giving us 30 degrees for measure of angle 1. I'm going to label inside this triangle for it. And then now we're looking at other examples. We could find angle 2 by adding up the two angles on the outside, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find angle 3 first. So to find angle 3, that is an exterior angle with the remote interior angles being 66 and 30 degrees. So to find that, I can just do 66 plus 30, which is 96 degrees. So measure of angle 3 is 96. Now if I know that that's 96, I have two angles inside of this triangle, so I'm going to do 96 plus 43 ends up giving me 139. 180 minus 139 ends up giving me that the angle 2 is 41 degrees. Now once again, there's multiple ways to getting all of these answers, but that is just the way that I did this one. Now looking at number 5, the first angle I'm going to look to try to get is angle 1. Angle 1 is inside this triangle that has the right angle, so to find that angle I can do 90 plus 43 gives me 133. 180 minus 133 gives me that angle 1 is 47 degrees. Now my next step on here is I'm going to again look at angle 2 as an exterior angle, which means that its remote interior angles are 47 and 90. So to find angle 2, I'm going to do 47 plus 90, which ends up giving me 137 degrees. Now I have two options on finding 3. I can either look at the triangle with the angle of 12 and then 137 degrees and then add those and subtract from 180, or I can look at this whole thing as a whole, do 47 plus 12, which would be 59, plus 90, and then subtract that from 180 as well. So I'm going to do it this way, where I'm going to do 137 plus 12 gives me 149, then 180 minus 149 gives me my last angle, which is angle 3 of 31 degrees. Now, previous properties actually still do apply. For example, if we look at number 9, we've got L being parallel to M. So with that, we have alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding angles, etc. from it. So if we're finding these angles, the first one that I'm looking at is I got 73 here and angle 1 here. If those lines are parallel, as they say, those are alternate interior angles, which means that angle 1 has to be the same as the angle that is 73 degrees. So angle 1 must be 73 degrees. Now to find angle 3, these make a straight line, so I can do 180 minus 73, which would give me 107. For a measure of angle 3 is 107 degrees. Now that also can help me find a measure of angle 2. If angle 3 is 107, that means that measure of angle 2 and the 49 has to also be 107. So to find angle 2, I'm going to do 107 minus 49, which will give us 58. So measure of angle 2 is 58 degrees. Now again, alternate interior angles tells me that angle of 4 has to be the same as 49 degrees. And we can do a linear pair to find angle 5 would have to end up being 180 minus 49, which would be 131 degrees. Again, there's other properties that you can end up using, but the ones that we've learned so far are still fair game with these. These problems can also be used with algebra type problems, such as number 12. We have all 3 interior angles, which means they all have to add up to 180 degrees. So that's how we're going to set this problem up. 180 equals to 9x plus 3 plus 5x minus 2 plus 11x minus 21. Combining like terms, we end up getting 25x minus 20 equals to 180. Add 20 to both sides, and now it is 200 equals to 25x. Divide by 25, and x equals to 5. So that is one part of it. Now we actually end up having to plug this back into it. Okay, sorry, x does not equal to 5, x equals to 8. Now since x equals to 8, we're going to end up doing this one. 5 times 8 minus 2 gives us 40 minus 2, which is 38 degrees for a measure of angle D. Measure of angle E, it's 9 times 8 plus 3, 72 plus 3, which is 75 degrees. And we can even plug into the other one, or we could add those two together and give us our third angle. This would be 11 times 8 minus 21, which is 88 minus 21, which ends up giving us 67 degrees. And just to double check, 38 plus 75 plus 67, when you add all that together, you end up getting 180, so it does check out. You can also do this for the exterior angles as well. We've got this angle here, 18x minus 15 being my exterior angle, so it has to be equal to the sum of the two remote interior angles, or A plus B. So we're going to do 18x minus 15 equals to 13x minus 11 plus 4x plus 1. Alright, combining like terms, 13x plus 4x is 17x minus 10 still equals to 18x minus 15. Subtract 17x from both sides, and we get x minus 15 equals to negative 10. Add 15, and x equals to 5. Plugging back in, 13 times 5 minus 11 is 65 minus 11, which gives you 54 degrees. 5 times 4 plus 1 is 20 plus 1, so that is 21 for measure of angle B, which is ABC. Alright, now we have a couple options here. We can either find either of these angles. We can do it here. 18 times 5 minus 15 is 90 minus 15, which is 75. So angle DCB is 75 degrees. Now we can either add up 54 and 21, subtract from 180 to give us the other angle, or we can just do 75 minus from 180, giving us that the other angle would have to be 105. And now just to double check, 54 plus 21 does equal to 75, where the exterior angle should be. Alright, thank you for watching the video. See you in class tomorrow.